Hello, my little mathematicians. Today, we're going to review all the operations with decimals. We're going to do adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing. So let's go ahead and start by looking at number 1. It's an adding problem. When we add with decimals, we want to make sure that we always line them up. So I have 24.767. And then when I write my next one, I'm going to put the decimal right beneath it and then write the numbers surrounding it. So 31 goes here, and then 43 goes to the right of the decimal. And then I like to add a zero placement holder when needed. So I'm going to put a little zero right there. Okay, now that I have all of my numbers nice and neat lined up, I go ahead and I combine them. So 7 plus 0 is 7. 6 plus 3 is 9. 7 plus 4 is 11. Bring down my decimal. 1 plus 4 is 5. Plus 1 is 6. And 2 plus 3 is 5. Always double check you brought your decimal down. And there you go. There's my final answer. Okay, and then what's smart is to kind of always estimate. 24 plus 31, it should be about 50-ish. Yep, my answer makes sense. Just in case you accidentally didn't align your decimals, always estimate your answers to see that your answer makes sense. Okay, let's go ahead and look down at my next one. And it says 138.46 minus 22.1. Okay, so I'm going to write the first one, and then I'm subtracting, so I'm going to line up my decimal. 22 goes here, and then the 1 goes there. Just like before, I'm going to go ahead and put a zero placement holder there. Okay, and then I know that 6 minus 0 is 6. 4 minus 1 is 3. Bring down my decimal. 8 minus 2 is 6. 3 minus 2 is 1. And 1 minus nothing is 1. Some people like to bring down the decimal at the very beginning rather than as you go, just so that then you don't forget about it. That would be wise. I could have done that as well. Okay, my next one, this time I'm multiplying. When you're multiplying, you always put the thing with the most amount of digits. What I mean by that is 24.5 has 1, 2, 3 digits, and 3.2 has 1, 2 digits. So this has more digits than this one does. So the one with more digits goes on top, and then the one with less digits goes on the bottom. Now this just so happened to have the decimals line up, but when you're multiplying, you don't line up your decimals. You don't have to. Okay, it's just the one with most digits goes on top, and then the one with less digits goes on the bottom. And then you multiply like normal. Start with the 1 here in the ones place, and 2 times 5 is 10, carry the 1. 2 times 4 is 8, plus 1 is 9. 2 times 2 is 4. And then I'm going to put a zero placement holder here when I go to move on to the 3, because this isn't really a 3. It's in the tens place, so it's like 30. So I have this here so that I'm starting in the tens place. Okay, now 3 times 5 is 15. Carry the 1. 3 times 4 is 12. Plus 1 is 13. 2 times 3 is 6. Plus 1 is 7. Now I took care of both of those, so I just add these going down. 0 and 0 make 0. 9 and 5 make 14. 1 and 4 make 5. Plus 3 is 8. And then bring down my 7. How I deal with my decimal for these is I look at how many numbers are after the decimal. 1. How many numbers here are after the decimal? 1. For a grand total of 2 numbers after the decimal for my answer. So I'm going to put it right there. You can write your final answer as 78.40, or you could even write it as 78.4. That is an insignificant 0 when it's at the end. You can drop it. Now, if it was 78.04, that's a significant one because it serves as a placement holder. So then 78.04, you'd have to keep that 0 there. But if it's at the end after the decimal, that's fine. I can either write it as 78.40 or 78.4. Okay. For this one, I'm dividing. And when you divide, whatever comes first goes inside the house. Whatever comes second goes outside the house. However, when you're dividing, you can't divide with a decimal. So I need to move this over until the decimal's gone. Now, since I moved it 2 places, I need to move it 2 places inside the house as well. And when I moved it 2, I need to go ahead and put a 0 placement holder there. I like to rewrite it just so that it's not too messy. So this 0.25 becomes 25. And this 16.8 is now 1680. Okay, and then we do our long division like normal. Can 25 go into 1? No. Can 25 go into 16? No. Can 25 go into 168? Yes. I like to think of it as quarters. How many quarters make something close to this? Probably $1.50 because $1.75 is too big. So how many quarters make $1.50? 6 of them. Okay, and 6 times 5 is 30. 6 times 2 is 12. Plus 3 is 15 because we said like $1.50, right? Okay, 8 minus 0 is 8. 6 minus 5 is 1. 1 minus 1 is 0. Always double check when you're dividing that your remainder is smaller than what you divided by. If this was bigger than what you were dividing by, you didn't pick a big enough number here and you need to try again. Okay, now since this one was smaller than what I'm dividing by, I'm good to keep going and bring that next number down, which is a 0. Now 25 into 180. So think of quarters, $1.75. So how much would make $1.75? Well, probably 1 more quarter. So 7 of them. And that makes $1.75. Then I subtract 180 minus 175 is 5. Now there's nothing else to bring down. So what I do is I add a decimal and a 0. Now I can bring that 0 down. And 25 goes into 50 twice. And it went in evenly, so I'm done, which means my final answer is 67.2. Okay. For the right side, let's keep going. It says 357.469 plus 61.88. So since I'm adding, it doesn't matter which one you write first. But when I go to write my second one, I want to line up the decimal, and then 61 was to the left of it, and 88 was to the right of the decimal. Okay, and then it would be wise if we put a little 0 placement holder there. Okay, and then I just add down like normal. 9 plus 0 is 9. 6 plus 8 is 14. 1 and 4 make 5. 5 plus 8 is 13. Carry the 1. Bring down your decimal. 1 plus 7 is 8. 8 plus 1 is 9. 5 and 6 make 11. And 1 and 3 make 4. So that one is 419.349. Okay, of course, whenever you're trying these, if you want to try them first and pause the video, that would be smart. Okay, this one we're subtracting, so whatever comes first goes on top. Line up your decimal. 4 goes to the left of it and 7 goes to the right of it. Let's go ahead and put a 0 placement holder there. And then let's go ahead and subtract. So 2 minus 0 is 2. 9 minus 7 is 2. Bring down your decimal. I can't take 4 from 3, so I'm going to borrow That becomes a 6. This becomes 13. 13 minus 4 is 9. And 6 minus nothing is 6. So this is 69.22. And then my next one, we're multiplying. So this time, it's whichever one has the most number of digits goes on top. This has 4 digits. This has 2. So 48.26 times 0.21. Okay. 1 times 6 is 6. 1 times 2 is 2. 1 times 8 is 8. And 1 times 4 is 4. Now that I multiplied the 1 times everything, I move on to the 2. And I need to put a 0 placement holder there. Okay, so 2 times 6 is 12. Carry the 1. 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5. 2 times 8 is 16. Carry the 1. 2 times 4 is 8. 8 plus 1 is 9. Okay, add down. 6 and 0 make 6. 2 and 2 make 4. 8 and 5 make 13. 1 and 4 make 5. 5 plus 6 is 11. 1 and 9 make 10. This has 2 numbers after the decimal. This has 2 numbers after the decimal as well. So I need 4 after the decimal in my answer. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Puts my answer at 10.1346. Okay, my final problem is division. Remember, whatever comes first goes inside the house. So 242.348 goes inside, and 46.1 goes outside. I can't divide with a decimal, so I need to move it over, which means I also need to move it over inside the house as well. And you move it however many times you moved it outside. So now my new problem is 461 into 9423.48. Okay. Can 461 go into 9? No. And I always like to put my numbers directly above the numbers here so then I don't lose track of where I am. Okay. Can 461 go into 94? No. Can 461 go into 942? Yes. How many times? Well, 3 is 12, right? If I do 4 times 3, that's 12, so that's a little bit too big. 4 times 2 is 8, so it'll be about 800-ish. So let's try times 2. Well, 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times 6 is 12. 2 times 8, or 2 times 4 is 8, plus 1 is 9. Now I go ahead and subtract. 2 minus 2 is 0. 4 minus 2 is 2. And 9 minus 9 is 0. Always double check. 20 is less than 461. So I'm good to bring that next number down, which is a 3. Can 461 go into 203? No, it goes in 0 times. So you put a 0 there. 0 times 461 is 0. When you subtract 203 minus 0, you get 203 again. Now I can bring that next number down. And I know that seems silly, but a lot of people forget to put that 0 there because it couldn't go in. And you can't bring like 2 things down right away. So I needed to put a 0 there. 0 times this is 0. Now I can bring this one down. Okay. 461 goes into this. We'll focus on the 4. 4 goes into 20 about 5 times, but because it's not just 4 times 5, it's 461 times 5. It'll probably end up going over this. So let's try times 4. 4 times 1 is 4. 4 times 6 is 24. So 4 and 4 makes 16, plus that other 2 is 18. Okay, subtract. 4 minus 4 is 0. I can't take that away, so I'm going to borrow. And there we go. That becomes a 1. This is now 13. 13 minus 4 is 9. 9 minus 8 is 1. And 1 minus 1 is 0. 190 is smaller than 461. So I'm good to keep going and bring down that next number, which is an 8. Okay, 4 goes into 19. 4 times 4 is 16. 4 times 5 is 20. So let's try the 4 again. We just did that. So we know it's 1844. When I subtract that, 8 minus 4 is 4. And you can't take 4 from 0, so I need to borrow. That becomes a 10. 10 minus 4 is 6. 8 minus 8 is 0. 1 minus 1 is also 0. So my remainder is 64. Technically, you could just bring down another 0. And let's see, can 461 go into 640? Yes. How many times? Once. And I'm going to get some remainder. I could keep going, but I'd say let's round it to the hundredths place. So I'm going to underline the thing in the hundredths and look at the number behind it. So my beginning part is 20.4. Now, does this 4 stay a 4 or go up to a 2? If the number behind it was 5 or above, it would round this up 1. If the number behind it is 4 or below, then it tells us to stay whatever it is. It's 1, which falls into the 4 below category. So this is going to stay as is, which is a 4. Okay, so if I can tell that my problem is just going to keep going and going and going and going and going, usually in the directions it'll say, hey, round to the nearest tenth or the nearest hundredth or the nearest thousandths. And whatever it says to round to, you go one number further than that, and then that helps you see if it stays what it is or if it goes up 1. And that's all there is to it. Hopefully you did pretty well in this assignment. Congratulations, because if you got 100%, you now are a master at knowing how to add, subtract, multiply, and divide decimals.